When I was a little boy growing up in Tyndall Heights, I used to shoot marbles. And many of you know what shooting marbles is. You just draw a ring in the sand and you put marbles in it, kind of like pool. And then, you get outside the ring and you shoot. You try to get the marbles out of the ring, and you could keep the marbles that you shot out of the ring. And so if you're walking around with your pockets full of marbles, that means you're a good marble shooter. Mm-hmm. One of the interesting things about shooting marbles is that, you shot with what is called your toy. So if you just accidentally drop your toy, you can say slippers, and shoot again. So you didn't lose your shot by just making a mistake and dropping your marble. Well, there are some things in life that are so important until once an action occurs, you can't say slippers and erase it. So we're going to talk about something today when by certain actions, if you perform certain actions and did certain things, then it will prevent you from getting a disease or a sickness that will make you think that you could say slippers. And so we're going to talk today about prostate cancer. And the interesting thing about sickness is a lot of people are ashamed. But let me promise you something. If you keep living, you're going to get sick. And let me promise you one other thing. If you address the sickness, whatever it is, for example, a lot of people need mental health treatment. Well, before you really go crazy, you can go to a psychiatrist, and live a pretty meaningful life. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Havisham, and I'm so proud today, for a lot of reasons, to be able to bring you this show because we're going to talk about prostate cancer, and we're going to talk about prevention and early detection and screening, and we're going to talk about the symptoms if there are any. So I'm proud to have these two young men with me today who thought it would not be robbery to try to expose to other men throughout the nation, and particularly throughout Central Georgia, information on prostate cancer and what it can do to you, and maybe what you can do or we can do so it won't do it to us. So we're going to begin by letting them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Albert Rogers. I'm a resident of Macon, and I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in March of 2011.
Okay.
My name is Harry Taylor, and I'm a resident of Macon also, and I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2004.
Okay. You still kicking?
Still kicking.
Congratulations.
Still kicking. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, and really, you all are on a mission. You're part of an organization. You've got an initiative, and you've got a desire to do some things educationally as it relates to prostate cancer. But first of all, kind of tell me your story as it relates to Albert, as it relates to when you got it and what you did and what happened to you.
Well, I have a series of what they call the PSA test, and I had over a period of about 5 or 6 years, I had the biopsies, and I had 3 biopsies, and they each indicated no cancer.
Okay.
But my PSA numbers kept going up.
Okay.
And in fall of 2011, my PSA was up, and my family doctor, Dr. William Hutchins, was in my case about doing something. So I didn't know what to do because all those other biopsies had been negative.
Right.
So I told him, make me an appointment to Mayo in Jacksonville. And he did, and we went down, my wife and I went down in, I believe, November, December of 2011. And they looked at my records, and we went back for a, what they call a screening, which was 36 biopsies.
Wow.
In January. But they put you to sleep to do that. And the result of that was the guy called me back, the doctor called me back and said that what my number was, I think like 14 or 15 at the time. And they basically want your number to be around low numbers, very low numbers.
Like 4 or 5?
Yeah, very low numbers. And mine had keep going up, each biopsy my number was going up. But And the result of that was, they said, okay, you do have prostate cancer, and your prostate is active 3 times the normal size. Which I said, whoa. So he told me, basically you have 3 options. You can do nothing. You can watch. He said, you've been doing that for about 4 years, you've been watching. And the treatment can be radiation or seeds. And I didn't want to do either one of those because I knew some guys that had some bad things. So the only option then was to have that radical surgery and have your prostate removed. In terms of symptoms, basically, there's no pain.
Right.
The only symptoms I had just for the surgery was you have frequent urges to go urinate, and sometimes you go and you can't. And those are the only symptoms basically, but there's no pain.
Right.
So you can't look for pain. So I had the surgery. I had a problem here, and I went to another doctor here, Dr. Lewis in Macon, and explained everything to him. He got all my information from Mayo, and he had a nice educational conference with me and my wife, and explained things to me, and basically said that I can do it here. But, you know, because if you go down to Jacksonville and there's a problem, that's a long way to go back and forth.
Right.
So we decided to go ahead and have it done at Coliseum Hospital.
The surgery.
Yes, in April, I think it's 3 or 4 days before Easter in April 2014.
And you're still here.
I'm still here, but I did have an infection and I had to have a colostomy, ostomy for a while, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here, and that's what we're trying to tell guys.
Yeah.
That because a lot of guys think that, well, you know, that's too personal and too intimate and all that kind of good stuff.
Now, let me say this, and that's why I'm gonna interrupt you and tell you that I really appreciate what you and Harry are doing as it relates to caring more about trying to help the community through education than trying to conceal the fact that, you know, because a lot of people get embarrassed, and that's why I led in with the fact that everybody gets sick. So congratulations and thank you. Okay, Harry, tell us, what's your story?
My story was something similar to Abbott. I guess around 2002, my PSA become elevated, and I noticed that, and we rocked the wrong way. In 2003, began to have biopsy, and all biopsy came back negative. During that time, we had one biopsy that was kind of questionable, whether it was prostate or not, and at the time, I elected to go to Emory. And the reason why I went to Emory because the doctor I was seeing local had said there's a possible chance you have prostate cancer. And we started looking at the family history, and that's a key component of prostate cancer. It does not mean because my dad had it, I would get it, but when you look at some of the statistics and the stats, it does have to do with hereditary. Remember, those genes are very important there. My dad had prostate cancer, also my brother had prostate cancer, and I was number 3. The family had it. So when I went to Emory, the guy, he looked at all my numbers or whatever, and he said, you got prostate cancer, but to be on the safe side, we're gonna send this study off to Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland.
Right.
They did a study, it came back, you need prostate surgery. And he kind of looked at it this way, he said, that's a decision that you have to make. But he looked at, you have a family history, your brother, your father, and those genes are there. And he said, if I were you, you're in good health, and hope you can live a long life.
Come on.
I would recommend that you get surgery. My wife and I prayed about it, talked about it, and elected to have the surgery, and I did well. And this is what I tried to encourage men as I talk to them. Prostate cancer does not mean death.
Right.
It means that you need to get something done about it, Whereas most guys wait too late to do anything about it. And when they rush to the doctor, it's full blown, and there's nothing can be done. And I'll share further about that story about what happened to my father as we go further to
Well, share it now.
My father, who was probably 70, was a brick mason, came up doing brickwork, laying blocks, brick, and all of a sudden he began to have symptoms. My father was a widow. He and my brother shared the home together. And my brother called one morning about 4 o'clock, Dad needs to go to the doctor. And I see signs of blood as he tried and go to the bathroom. And as Roger said, had the same problem. He couldn't make water. And I said, okay, we're going to Dublin. He was a vet, World War II vet, and we headed out going to Dublin. Once we got partial way down at the rest stop, he had to go to the bathroom. He got some relief. And he said, I'm okay now. We can go back to bed. No, we going on to Dublin. And we went to Dublin, and they did a PSA, and he came back 95.
95.
95. Full-blown prostate, 95.
Now, the average, the safe number is like, what's a safe
The
number?
safe number is 1 to
1 to
4,
2,
1 to 5. And numbers may not mean anything because you can have a 5.7 and not have prostate cancer. The only way you're going to know that is by go to a urologist specialist and let them do further testing to determine what you got. I had 4 biopsies, and 3 of those biopsies came back negative. And the 4th one came back and says, there's a possibility that you have prostate cancer. So the score may not mean nothing.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you a question. Because now, are you suggesting that all men need to be concerned about prostate cancer and the possibility of having it and getting checked for it?
What we recommend, and I say we, the Georgia Prostate Cancer Coalition, which is a group that I am involved with and also Abbott, and we have a local chapter here in Macon, and we try to go around and talk to civic group, men group, and we recommend that a man start getting checked at 40. And if you have a family history, it's good to know your history in your family, and there's cancer in your family. Maybe father had prostate cancer, uncle or brother. We recommend start at 35. And that way you have a baseline as to what is going on. We kind of use a word and know your scope. So many times guys go get a PSA and the doctor walk by and say, okay, you okay? And I tell them, you want to know what was my test?
Yeah, what it say?
So then you have a borderline, say this year I was 2.9. If you go back next year, you wind up to a 3.5. And the next year you wind up a 4.6 or whatever. So it's important to kind of know where you're at. Just don't take the doctor word in that you was okay this year. Ask that question, what was my score this year? And then you'll be able to put together a number as you go forward into further testing.
Okay, now for people out there listening, men, and so walk, just say a man through the process, because oftentimes, too many of us we don't get checked for nothing, so what would you encourage, men to do? Not only, I know we need to check our health, but what about, since it's highly likely that, since last time I checked, all men got prostates.
That's right.
And so it's highly likely that, you could have it. So what's your suggestion?
Statistics shows that 1 out of 7 men will get prostate cancer. Some statistics shows 1 out of 6, and also shows 1 out of 4 if you're African American. Because African American has a higher risk of prostate cancer than, say, Caucasian or other Native American. And the reason has been studied as to why, but we do know that it's there. And I just told you my story in my family. I recommend guys that come through, when you get 40 years old, start getting checked, and kind of know what's going on. If you see some signs of something, Albert did say one, maybe you have proper urinating, maybe 1. Or it could be you see blood, or it could be no symptom at all, So we saying at that age 40, you need to start getting yourself checked,
Now, when you say get yourself checked, now does this mean that you go to the doctor? Is there a clinic, or are there any other kind of services available? Right. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have doctors, don't go get checked, don't have insurance. So is there an approach that this is a call to action?
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Havisham. I'm interviewing Mr. Albert Rogers and Mr. Harry Taylor about one of the most important subjects that we can talk about on a call to action or any other show. That's prostate cancer, the treatment, recognition, and prevention of it. And I want to say again, and I'm going to say it every time I break, that I really, really appreciate, what you guys are doing. And although I go to but I'm gonna be more conscientious myself, So now, talk a little bit, if you would, about early detection and the advantage of it. being, checked early.
Early detection is a key, and that key starts with a simple blood test. You go get a simple blood draw from the arm. They'll run that test through, and it will tell them a lot of things. Albert stated first, if the tests come back high, it may indicate something going on, maybe nothing going on. But at least you have a baseline, and then if your tests come back, say 5.10, normally your doctor will maybe watch that for 3 months, or you may decide to do a biopsy, to try to see what's going on. But if you're not going to the doctor at all, and we have found most cases, guys wait till they get 66 years old, 65 years old, and then they have these symptoms, and then they'll run to the doctor, and sometimes it's just too far gone. And really, it can't be helped. Now, it shows that if you get yourself checked on a regular basis, the curable rate is 99% if everything is contained within the wall of the prostate.
Okay, let's talk about that. So,
now,
there's a good chance that
yeah. In my case, hopefully it's a good law at work. Everything is still within the prostate. That 99%.
Now, when you say everything, you're talking about the cancer itself.
The cancer cells, the follicular cells that grow outside the prostate.
Okay.
Once they grow outside the prostate, they go to other parts of the body.
Okay.
In my dad's case, it went to the bone.
Oh, God.
It could go to the kidney, just other parts. When it go to those very parts of the body, it's not that good.
Yeah.
It also shows statistics-wise, if you wait too late, the chances is only 28%. And this is why we try and urge men through awareness, and what we're doing today is awareness, screening, take advantage of free screening, then you'll be able to hopefully live a good life,
without
a good quality life without prostate cancer.
Now, when you
asked a question now about the price. Since I've been involved with prostate cancer, which is in 2013, I work with Medical Center, Navison Health, on a lot of health fairs, and they do about 3 a year. Free. All the man got to do is go there and get a blood work done. That's all.
Ain't no excuse.
There's no excuse.
Yeah.
I also work with Jimmy Mills, who have a program called Iron Man, and they do free PSA.
Yeah.
So when I hear guys say I don't have the money to go get a PSA, that's not an excuse, because this is free. That has been paid through somebody else. All you got to do is go get a little blood. Results come back to you. If the test is higher, the guy who sent that out, he recommends you follow up with your doctor, and then you wait till the next year and you go again. It's just that simple.
But you gotta keep checking. Just because you didn't have it last year.
That's right.
Does not mean that you won't have it next year.
That's right.
So you gotta. Yeah. Now, how often should you get checked?
I would say
mine was every year.
Yeah, every year. Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the number.
Yeah, and you
it's up to the doctor.
Watch that number.
It's up to the doctor.
Yeah. I see looking at that sign there that said that it's the number 2 cancer killer of men.
That is correct. Lung being number 1, and prostate cancer being number 2.
Wow. And what we need to say when we say cancer, what we have to understand is, Harry said, if it's contained within the prostate,
yes, sir,
that's when they remove it. The problem men have, they're not getting checked, and it spreads to other parts of the body.
Right.
Very few men die from prostate cancer. What they die from, the cancer haven't gotten checked, and the cancer is spread to other parts of the body.
Yeah. It's what not checking the prostate cancer has caused. I mean, so it's the rippling effect of not getting checked.
That's right.
And early detection.
Early detection is the key. Early detection is the key.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no ifs, ands, but about it. If you are a man, 40 years old, you need to start getting checked. Yeah. And I know there's been some controversy that you should wait to 50, but I have found out when guys wait to 50, sometimes it's too late.
Yeah.
I know some guys who diagnosed with prostate cancer at 41. One guy I'm talking with now, he's a 47. So that's young age for men. So if he wait till he get 50 or 55, it may be full blown.
Yeah.
And not much can be done.
Yeah.
And what you're trying to do is prevent you having to go through it first. But keep in mind, that affects your family also. Your wife is part of that.
Yeah.
Your children is part of that.
Right.
And when you see guys, you don't want to see guys that so violent doing things, and now you can't do very much at all
Right.
because of that disease that's stricken them.
Right.
You know.
Now, when you talk about doing things, so am I hearing you say that, you know, once you kind of get it checked and get it corrected, then you could pretty much go back to normal life and normal activity?
I do everything I was doing before.
Age gonna stop you from doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just keep living.
Age has a factor in that, but
Yeah.
you're right. My recovery was 5 weeks, and I took off 6 weeks at the time, and pretty well I went back to normal. Now, I couldn't go out and cut grass and all that because I had robotic type surgery, and that's the surgery where they make a small incision. And I tell everybody to go in with those joysticks. You know, people can understand that. But the guys over there, the doctor's sitting over here, and then he got those instrument panels. He's moving around,
Right.
doing what needs to be done. You know, and he
Right.
sniff out the prostate and
Right.
he button you up, and he through with it. You know,
Right.
basically,
Right.
I say button you up, but sew you up, and he through with it. You
Yeah,
know?
but there is a good chance of a full recovery.
Full recovery.
Yeah.
Full recovery. Yeah.
Now, talk a little bit about your organization.
Georgia Prostate Cancer Coalition was founded in year 2000 by a bunch of gentlemen who felt there was a need to do something because of the men getting prostate cancer. During that time, they was formed, and two key components they want to do was raise awareness and screening. Since then, that has grown to where now we have a main chapter in Atlanta, Georgia Prostate Cancer Coalition, which we kind of take our marching orders from. And then we have a local chapter here in Macon, which we started in 2015. Have a chapel in Augusta as well as Athens. And our primary goal is to eliminate prostate cancer due to death. That's what we're trying to do. Eliminate prostate cancer due to death. You know, not saying you're not going to get prostate cancer, but
You
if
don't
we
want
can
folk dying
eliminate
from it.
that from death, you know,
Yeah.
we have accomplished a mission, you know.
Yeah.
And the only way we can do that is by you going to the doctor on a regular basis, you
And
know.
getting checked.
And then follow the regimen of your doctor. You know, so many guys may go to the doctor, or tonight something may happen, you run to the med center, and you're okay, but then you don't go again until it happens again. And that may be 6 months of a year. But kind of follow the doctor's order, you know,
Yeah.
and get yourself, as Albert said, checked on a regular basis.
So, am I hearing you say that there are some other signs as it relates to trying to raise your awareness or raise your interest, like if you're having difficulty urinating, or if you see blood in your urine, or are there some other signs that one needs to be concerned about?
Frequent going, frequent have need to go. And when I say frequent, 2 or 3 times in an hour, that kind of thing. So that's not normal. So you need to go and talk to your doctor. And I'm finding that most men are afraid to talk to their doctor. You know, we big and bad and bold and all that kind of good stuff. You know, so we won't talk to the doctor about things, but we need to let them know what's going on. That's what's going on, and they can do tests and see, because they have the knowledge, they have the equipment, they have the test, and they can let you know. And once they find that out, then they can watch it. That's like my first biopsy I think was 10. The number was 10. Well, that was a flag to the doctor. Even though it came back and it said it was BPH, then each year then he wants me to get checked. And the idea was to see if the number was increasing. And that was the warning for them. He said, that number is going up.
Right.
The number's going up.
Right.
And I didn't really start worrying until I started having some of those other problems.
Right.
And then I decided, well, I better do something. And I would say this, I tell people all the time, if I had to do it again, what would you do differently? I would go earlier to
Right.
get checked and have whatever I need to do. And like my doctor said, whatever decision you make in terms of the seed, the radiation,
Now, what you mean by the seed?
those implant seeds with, I forget the chemical that's in it.
That's
into
okay.
Into your
But
prostate.
they insert it into
Yeah.
the.
In prostate.
Yeah, go up
It's
through
kinda
the
like
radiation treatment.
go up through the
type
rectum, and those seeds, I've been told, it's all like rice.
Right.
And they may plant, say, 35, 40, whatever the doctor determined that you need on the prostate, and I guess that seed would expose
Kill
that
the-
into the
kill the
prostate
cells,
to kill the
kill
cells,
prostate.
to
Right.
kill the cell, basically what it does.
Right. It's
Yeah.
almost like a kind of radiation.
Right.
Right,
You
yeah.
know, just
right,
shooting something
right,
out
right.
there.
Yeah, instead
Regulation.
of you're going with a beam and radiation on you,
Well,
you're actually doing that through.
Believe it or not, we almost running out of time.
Okay.
And there are a couple of things that you got something you want to say?
Yeah,
Because
I want to say one thing. First, thank you for having us here on this show.
Yes, sir.
And I do want to say that Clark is doing this is Clark Atlanta University, is doing a study on why men get prostate cancer. Clark have received a grant, about $7 million, and they're trying to get prostate cancer survival. And they're particularly looking at all men, but especially African American men, because we seem to get prostate cancer more than other men.
Right, right.
And so that website is www.pcregistry.cau.edu.
Okay, so we'll project that on the screen for you. What about if somebody? So now they want every man or any man who has had prostate cancer to contact them to be a part of this study.
Right.
Yeah.
All this do is you go online and fill. There's no sticks, no needles, no nothing. It's just filling out information that compile all this data up, and make contact you later on.
Okay. Before I don't want to run out of time. Before giving you all the opportunity to talk about how somebody, do you have to have had prostate? Who can join your organization? And if you're not looking for members, how can you be helped? Or how can you be contacted? Because I'm sure there are some groups, some churches, some organizations, fraternities, sororities, etc., who would like for you all to come in.
And I'm glad you asked. I'm looking for committed members, number one, who are committed for the cause. And again, that cause is number one, to go out there to raise awareness and screening. A lot of guys in our group are prostate cancer survivors, but there are some guys who join our group who are there on behalf of a brother or a father or a cousin. So we welcome them also. Anybody. Now we meet every third Tuesday at Mobley. Mobley's at 402 Cherry Street at 12 noon. We have our luncheon meeting that every third Tuesday, and we kind of discuss what we're trying to do in Macon-Middle, Georgia. But if there's a church group or a civic group want us to come out and talk with them, they can contact me at 478-718-7173, and I'll be glad to go out and talk with them, myself, Roger, or somebody on the committee, about what we do, as far as trying to get the community engaged with what's going on and how we hopefully can pass this information on to the male figure, and they can be live a productive life and be around for a while.
Particularly the brothers.
This
is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, having interviewed Mr. Albert Rogers and Mr. Harry Taylor, who have brought us just very, very important information on prostate cancer, the treatment and the prevention of it, and how the community needs to be educated on that fact. 186,000 men will get it, and 29,000 will die. And it's their mission to bring that 29,000 down to zero.
Amen.
This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham. Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
www.makingblackpages.com